Okay guys, today we're gonna go over here my favorite techniques for no gi. It's gonna be all about bar on game, so it's gonna be a lot about half guard and the half butterfly and even like a little bit about butterfly as well. So if you're familiar about my game, you will see that I try to pretty much do everything I do with gi for no gi. So I just adapt the game that I play with gi for no gi, and it works very well. If you are unfamiliar with my game, you see that everything I do, it's pretty simple. I try to not complicate things so much, so I try to make it as much simple as possible. I believe that half guard is a very good game for like the older grapplers, because if you are getting older, probably you are not as much as explosive as you were before. So half guard is the type of game that you don't have to be explosive, you don't have to be flexible. All you gotta do is lock one of your opponent's legs and go from there. And from there, you're gonna have a lot of options. You're gonna have the option to go to single leg half guard, to go to deep half guard. If you like attacking legs and if it's allowed on your belt, you can attack leg locks, foot locks, and from half guard you can go to the half butterfly that are gonna work a lot here as well. So it's a very good game, and I'm very excited here to share with you guys everything that I have been doing for no gi. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Okay guys, first technique that we're gonna do here, it's gonna be how to put the half guard when you start standing, right? So we started the match, right? I want to take him down, he want to take me down. How am I gonna pull half guard? No gi, we don't have too much engage, right? So when it's gi, I like controlling the lapel, controlling the sleeves, but no gi, there is not too much engagement. So how am I gonna do that? I don't want to just do like this, look. And I don't have any engage here, and he probably would start trying to pass my guard doing a knee cut or grabbing my head. So I don't want to do that, right? So guys, what I want to do here is, I'm going to start very low, right? So I want to start here as low as possible. I don't want to start too high and give him the chance to do a double leg, or to do this, or to do that. So what I want to do here, you can pick any which leg you want to have in the front, right? I would suggest like this. The leg that you have in the front, you have this arm protecting as well. So for example, I'm here, I'm going to keep this leg in the front, I'm going to go over his head, and once he places his hand on my head, now I'm going to switch to his biceps, right? Because now I know that he cannot do a double leg on me anymore, right? Once I switch it here, guys, all I got to do is, I'm going to step outside, and I'm going to pull him to me as strong as I can, open up his arm. So pay attention. I'm going to pull half guard to this side, right? So that side over there. So I'm going to open up his arm and pull. So look, I'm fighting against him here. I'm going to step outside, I'm going to open, and I'm going to pull as strong as I can. Once I'm here, I have the chance to go to the single leg half guard or to go to the deep half guard, right? So that's the goal. So let's see again. So look, I'm fighting against my opponent here. I have this leg on the front. I'm protecting my leg in case he's a wrestler, he tries to double leg me or anything like that. Now I'm gonna snap over his head, right? When I do this, probably his reaction to place his head over my head. So he's gonna do that as well. Once he did this, now I'm gonna control his biceps. I know that he cannot do a double leg anymore because I'm controlling his arm. I'm gonna step outside and I'm gonna bring him to me as strong as I can. So I wanna do this, look. Right? Also I'm here, I could go to the deep half guard, or I could go to the single leg half guard and just keep coming up, finish with the single leg, right? So that's the idea. I really want to like make sure I open up his biceps, I open up his arm to pull to the half guard. So guys, also again, what we don't want to do here is this, look. Just here, and then I pull half guard like this, and then I give him the chance to engage with me before I engage with him. So one more time. Fighting against my opponent, I'm going to control over his head, he's going to control my head, I'm going to control his biceps. Look, make sure to do a really tough grip here. Don't control just like this over. Do this grip. This is something that I learned from Marcelo. Every time he makes a grip like 201 or anything like that, he makes a grip like this. His thumb and this finger really smash the guy's biceps here, right? And then he has a really strong grip. So I'm gonna use this to push my game, right? So I'm gonna control over his head. I'm gonna control like his biceps kind of like over his biceps with my thumb and this finger. I'm gonna step outside and I'm gonna bring him to me, open up his arm, look. Also I'm here, I can go to his leg as a single, or I could go here as a deep halfer, right? And then I'm just gonna play my game, and I'm gonna start the match on my game. I believe that the most important thing about pulling guard on this way, it's because when we start the match, we want to start the match winning. Winning doesn't mean that we score points, but means that I want to start the match bringing my opponent to my game. I don't want to start the match on his best position. Let's imagine that his best position is the knee cut, or maybe his best position is passing the half or grabbing the head. I don't want to start the match from there. I want to start the match on my favorite move, the single leg halfer, the deep halfer. So I believe that if we do this, we're going to increase the chance to win a lot, right? And you can see that this is pretty much what I do with Gi. If you're familiar with my game, with Gi, I control both hands in the same lapel and I pull to me. No Gi, what I'm doing is this, right? So that's the game. Look, I'm going to step outside and pull. And that's it. That's my favorite way to pull halfer for no Gi. We're going to see some other options as well, but that's my favorite one. That's the one I would try first. I hope you guys enjoy it. Guys, in this situation here, we're gonna see how to pull halfway starting from the knees. The reason we are doing that, I understand that when we go compete, we start standing. But many times when we are rolling the gym, we start the match on the knees, right? That's how most of the jiu-jitsu schools are. So I believe that's really important to know how to deal well with these situations as well, because that's gonna help your confidence, right? I know that we start standing, but if you start on the knees and you don't know how to pull, or you pull wrong all the time, this might affect your confidence and maybe you're gonna stop doing half. You're gonna start playing another game. So I believe that's really important that even in the training, you start winning. You try to start the training since the beginning on your best position, right? So let's see how to do it. So let's imagine fighting against my opponent here. Normally what happens is we shake hands and we go. I'm gonna go and grab over his head, right? Probably when I do this, his reaction is to do the same thing. He's gonna go over my head, and that's what I want. Once he does that, I'm gonna do the same thing that we do when you're standing. So I'm gonna control like on his triceps, and I'm gonna like push as hard as I can, make him really strong grip. Okay? Guys, now pay attention. What I'm gonna do is the same side, I'm gonna place my foot on the mat. Okay? Guys, when I did that, for 1 second, I'm gonna kind of stand up, but I'm not really standing up. I'm just standing a little bit, enough to sit and pull him to me. And I have him on my halfer. Okay? Once I have him on my halfer, I could just like cross his arms and go to the single leg. I could from here go right away to the deep halfer, right? And I have a lot of options. Right? So let's see one more time. So look, we are here. I'm gonna control over his head. Probably he's gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna control his triceps. I'm gonna lift this leg up. Now look guys, I'm gonna do very quick here. I just have to do this, look. Right? So if I do slow motion again, you guys will see that I stand this leg up, I stand the other one up, and I sit and I pull him to me, and I have him on my halfer, right? Once I have him here, I have a bunch of options. I could just try to cross his arms and go to single leg. I could try to go to the deep halfer right away. I have many options. So let's just change the angle here and do to the other angle as well. So look, fighting here against Mal. I'm gonna control over his head, probably he's gonna control over my head. I'm gonna control his triceps. Guys, very important to understand. I have to lift this leg up, right? The same side as my arm. Now, slow motion again. Stand up a little bit and sit. And I have him here, right? Once I'm here, I have many options. I like doing the cross grip here, but we're gonna see that later in this instruction. I like doing the cross grip and then picking where I want to go. So when I'm on the knees starting the training, That's my favorite way to pull to the half grip. Again, I don't want to start the training just like I'm here and I'm gonna try to pull half grip like this, and then he starts mashing my legs, and then I started the training having a really hard time. I don't want to do this. I want to avoid that. So that's my favorite. I'm gonna control his triceps, his head, and pull to be as strong as I can. Okay guys, in this situation here, what you're gonna do here is probably like my favorite takedown for no gi, but I love this takedown because it matches up with half grip. So this is the type of takedown that I can try anytime I want, because or it's gonna work or I'm gonna end up in half grip. So that's why I love it so much. And it's pretty simple, it's not complex at all. We just need a good timing. That's the most important thing. We need a good timing, right? So guys, we already saw here that when I want to pull half grip, I go and I grab over my opponent's head, right? And then probably he grabs my head too, and then I grab his arm, and then I pull half grip, right? But many times what happens is we don't have this engaged, right? I'm studying in here, he's studying in there, and I don't have this engaged. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna make a trap for him. I'm gonna give him my wrist, expecting that he's gonna control my wrist. We already know, if he controls over my head, I'm gonna control his arm, and I'm gonna pull half grip. Right? If he doesn't, I'm gonna trap him. I'm gonna give him my wrist, expecting that he's gonna control my wrist. Once he does that, look what's gonna happen. If I against my opponent here, I'm gonna make the trap. Look, I gave him my wrist. Guys, once he does that, I'm gonna do slow motion first. I'm gonna switch my hand outside. I'm gonna switch this arm behind his triceps. I'm gonna step 1, 2, and arm drag. I love this arm drag so much because look, my first option here would be trying to take him down. I'm gonna come up and try to take him down to the double leg. But if for some reason I got here and he pressed his knee against my chest and I got stuck here, look where I am, in the single leg half grip. So I have nothing to lose here. Or I'm gonna get the takedown or I'm gonna get the half grip. That's actually like my favorite position, right? So let's see again. I'm gonna do very quick right now, so I'm not gonna do slow motion. Fighting against him, I'm gonna trap him, and that's it. If you guys see this one, I almost didn't even switch my hand. I just slapped him as quick as I could, right? So look, one more time, fighting against him, I'm gonna give him my wrist. As soon as he grabs, my goal is to try to switch. Look, I switch my hand outside, and there I am. From here, I would try first, turn on the knee and go to the double, right? If for some reason it doesn't work and he presses near my chest, I would just stop here. Pay attention how I have my grip. I'm grabbing his leg, I place my hand on my leg and I bring my butt knees up. Then you see soon that my favorite sweep here would be kicking him up and turn on the knee and finish the sweep. But let's not worry about that right now. Let's just worry about setting up your arm drag and going or for the takedown or for the half grip. So look, fighting a small wall, I'm gonna give him my arm as soon as he grab. There I am. I'm here. From here, my hand would go to his leg. I would turn on the knee and go for the double leg. Pay attention how I am. I would end up here. I would just control his leg and use this as a momentum to come up. Look. Right? If for some reason I can't come up, he presses his knee against my chest and I'm stuck here, I'm just gonna frame his knee, bring my both knees, and stop over here. I really like to keep this hand as a frame on his knee to make sure that I have some distance between he and me. And my right hand would stay on my leg and I would just stay like this. From here, he's super vulnerable. All I had to do is kick him up and turn kind of like to the same move, right? So let's see again, guys, last one. Fighting against my mouth, I'm gonna give him my hand. As soon as he grabs it, I'm gonna open, step, step, switch, pull to me as strong as I can, and kind of sit sideways, look. Once I'm here, I will just use his arms and his leg to come up. So let's change the angle here to make sure everybody can see. So I will just use this hand on his arm and this hand on his leg to come up, grab his other leg and finish. So that's the goal. That's the goal of the position. As I said before, I love this position because I can try anytime I want. Normal, or I get a takedown, or I get my opener on my halfer. So that's a very good deal. Okay guys, so in this situation here, I'm just gonna explain how I like to play the knee shields for no gi, right? So the knee shield, in my opinion, not my opinion, it's my favorite type of guard because it gives me all the options to go to the single leg halfer, to go to the deep halfer, to frame my opponent, to play safe. So I really like that, and it's very simple, right? It's not like spider guard that you gotta be flexible, or butterfly that you gotta deal with a bunch of things. In my opinion, the knee shields is the most simple guard you can see because we lock our opponents in the halfway, we place our knee against him as a shield, and then we play from there, okay? So let's see how we're gonna work here for no gi. When it's gi, I always take advantage of the lapel, I control the guy's sleeve many times. No gi, we don't have any of that. So how we would do that? So let's see here. So let's imagine I'm fighting against my opponent and I got him here. Guys, what's important here to understand? If it was gi, I would keep my knee like this, I would control his lapel. But as it's no gi, I don't have this control in here. So no gi would be way easier for him to start making a sandwich on my leg and start smashing and start passing, right? So I don't want to do this. So guys, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna lock this leg. So if you change the angle here, you guys can see I'm gonna lock this leg, okay? When I lock this leg, I'm gonna point my knee against his belly. So I really want to do this. Look, I want to make this pressure here with my knee against his belly. I wish you guys were here to feel because I'm kind of using my knee as a knife on his belly over there. And I'm really gonna point against him. So I'm not staying like this, look. It's completely different when I stay loose like this and when I stay like this, right? When I'm on this position, try to move my ball, he's kind of stuck here. And even if you try to make this sandwich on my leg, it's kind of hard for him because he can't open this knee shield, right? And guys, this type of posture gives me the time to think about what I'm gonna do next, right? So normally I make this pressure and I just frame my opponent. And now look how many options I have here. I could stretch my right leg and go to the single leg, look. I could stretch my right leg and go to the one that we call the coyote halfer, that, if you guys are familiar, Lucas Leite is the one who plays it as the best. So I could stretch this leg and go to the hip, right? Another option, I could go here to the deep halfer, just connecting my both hands. Now look, I push the knee and I bring his leg to me. This would open a lot of doors. I could go to like a heel hook, I could go to the knee bar, I could just go to the like what I call throw in the trash, right? If he doesn't give me this leg, I can bring him all the way up to the deep halfer, right? I could also control his wrist, cross his arms, and go to the single leg. So all I want to mean here, it's like how useful the knee shield can be. But it gotta be played in the right way, right? We don't want to have the knee shield like this and give him the chance to start smashing my leg. Especially like if you're like older and you don't want to deal with these like very fast young guys. I really suggest to make this pressure here, to stuck him, to calm him down, to make him slower, right? And then from here we would start going to the single leg, going to the deep halfer, attacking his leg. But that would be the best way to slow my opponent down, right? And you guys will see that even if he tries to do a knee cut here, it's gonna be hard for him. Try to lift his leg up, it's hard, look. And many times when he gets it, keep pushing. Bring your knee up, it's hard, I know that, but he gives me the space enough to go to his leg, right? So that's why I like it so much. I like to lock my legs and use my knee pushing his belly, right? And then from here I would start working. That's my favorite position. That's my favorite way to play the knee shields, right? And then I have all these options here to go single leg, deep halfer, leg lock, anything I want. So, I hope you guys got it, how we should use the knee shields for no gi. Okay guys, in this situation here, what we're gonna do is what I call a single leg half lift, right? But for no gi. If you guys are familiar with my game, that's the one that's been my favorite in like the last 2 or 3 years. That I start from the knee shields, I go to the single leg, I grab the lapel. When it's gi, I turn the knee and I finish. For no gi, I don't have that lapel, right? So you guys will see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do pretty much like what the wrestlers does. They connect the both hands, or they go to the double leg. And let's see how to do it. And let's see how to set up the single leg half here as well. So guys, I'm gonna start from the knee shields, right? So we talk a lot about that. In the knee shields, I want to have my knee pointing against his belly. So I want to lock my legs here. If you guys see in this other angle, I'm locking my legs and I'm pointing my knee against his belly. Okay, that's the goal. So just move again. So look, I'm here, connecting my legs and I'm pointing my knee against his belly. Right, that's the goal. Guys, now I can take my time, because that's the best way to slow down your opponent. So even if your opponent's like crazy strong, fast, young, and he moves a lot, and you are older than him, that's gonna be the way to slow him down. I'm locking my legs and pointing my knee against his belly. It's hard for him to do a knee cut, it's hard for him to approach me. So, and then now I'm gonna take my time here, and I'm gonna use these frames here. Right? Guys, every time I feel the opportunity to stretch his leg and follow my leg with my underhook, I'm gonna do this right away. So for example, I'm fighting against him. If he makes this sandwich here, it's hard to do that. Look, my hand can't go there. But if for some reason he's kind of fighting against me and he gave me this gap here, I'm gonna go right away. So look, I'm gonna stretch my leg down and I'm gonna go for the underhook. Okay? Guys, when I got here, I have the single leg, right? I could have 2 options. I could connect my both hands and try to come up like a single leg like this. Or I could just open this, not even connect his hands, control his other leg, and now come up like really strong here, a strong grip here, doing like a double. So I would just do this like. And I would finish the position, just move it a little bit, and I would finish the position going right away to pass his guard, right? Having like kind of like a folding pass here. And then I could start making pressure and start passing. Okay, so let's see one more time. Let's see from this other angle here. So look, I have my open with the knee shields here, right? I gotta understand that I gotta find this gap here. So if for some reason he makes this grip, I gotta change the game, right? But if not, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stretch this leg here, and my hand is gonna follow my leg. So look how my right arm is gonna fit in this place. Look, I'm gonna do this. Look. I did. Pay attention that when I get this other hook, I kind of hip escape here a little bit. Okay, just change that a little bit. Now I have 2 options. Also I'm here, probably my first option would be, I would try to hunt his leg over here with my left hand. Now I would just keep open the halfer, turn on the knee, and finish the position. Right? Many times, another option I have here is when I get here, for example, if he stretches his leg here, I can't find it, so I connect my both hands. Now I'm gonna come up with him with my both hands connected, look. Right? And now I would try to go for his leg again. Right? Now that I'm here, I would try to go to his leg and finish the position. Okay? So, one more time. Fighting against my opponent, I have my knee pointing against his belly. Okay, he's making pressure against me and framing him. I'm gonna stretch his leg, get the underhook, and go for his leg. Once I got here, I'm gonna hip escape a little bit. Just to make sure I have even a better underhook here. Then I'm gonna control his leg. Look, my elbow is on the mat. All I gotta do here is come up. So I'm gonna use him as a momentum to come up, look. And I finish. If for some reason he stretched his leg, I can't find his leg and this and that, I could always connect my both hands and come up. Look, I press his legs on between my legs, and now I go and I finish. right? So that's my favorite way. That's one of my favorite sweeps, the one I call single leg halfler. The one I pretty much got to sweep everybody with gi controlling the lapel, and that's the one I use for no gi as well. So I hope it works for you. Okay guys, in this situation here, let's imagine I went for the single leg from halfler and my opponent made a very good wizard, right? Really strong wizard. So guys, this position we're gonna do here, it's a very like a wrestling position, right? That we're gonna mix up here with jiu-jitsu, right? But you guys will see that it's gonna end up almost like in a wrestling move, but on the ground, okay? So that's my favorite way to break up the wizard for no gi, okay? So we're gonna do different angles here to make sure everybody can see. But for example, I'm gonna start with my knee shields here, pointing my knee against his belly. I'm gonna go for the single leg and grab his leg. Guys, once I got here, my opponent's gonna make a super strong wizard, right? So he's gonna pass his hand over my armpit and he's gonna control his leg. So you can see like how strong it is here and kind of stuck. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up my halfler and I'm gonna turn on the knee. So my leg is gonna slide underneath his leg. So I'm gonna do this. And once I got here, now I'm gonna connect my both hands, right? Yeah, it's really important to have a really strong grip here for both hands to make sure he cannot keep sprawling and I lose everything. So I really wanna have this grip, right? Guys, now that I got here, I'm gonna drive backwards and I'm gonna finish his leg. So if you change the angle here, just change the angle, no, just move to the other side. A little bit more. So look guys, I got here, right? All I gotta do is I'm gonna place my elbow on the mat, right? To make sure his leg is stuck. Now I'm gonna go on feet and I'm gonna start driving backwards. Once I start driving backwards, my goal is to finish his leg with my knee. And you guys will see that once I do this, he lost his wizard here. Once again, if you change the angle, look like his wizard, how his wizard is gone, right? Now, guys, now I'm just gonna keep driving backwards and I'm gonna start pushing forward, pushing forward, pushing forward and lifting up this leg until I place his foot over my leg, okay? Now I'm just gonna keep driving forward and finish almost like a double leg. If I wanted, I could have switched to the attacking his back as well, to jump to his back. But let's see again. Fighting against my opponent, pointing my knee against his chest, against his belly. I'm gonna go for the single, and once I got here, he's gonna set up a very good wizard here, right? So he has that wizard. Guys, I gotta move quick here. If I wait too much, he's gonna keep sprawling and I'm gonna lose everything. So once he did that, I'm gonna open the halfler, turn the knee and connect my both hands, right? Next step right now, I'm gonna place this elbow on the ground. So I'm here, I'm gonna do this, look, I have my elbow on the ground. Now I'm gonna stay on toes, and I'm gonna drive back, 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 and pay attention to his wizard. Look how his wizard is going gone. He's going away. His wizard is gone. Now I'm gonna control his leg with my palm. I'm gonna place my knee behind his leg and I'm gonna open up his leg. Open, 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 open. Now this hand goes here. I lift up his leg and I place his leg over my leg. His foot over my leg. From here I could just keep driving forward and he would fall. Or I could switch everything to his back and kind of go into his back over here. And he ended up falling. Right? So, one more time. Have the wizard here very well set up, controlling his shoulder, controlling his arm. I'm gonna take advantage and boom, go to the single leg. Once I got here, he's gonna set up a very strong wizard. So once he did that, I'm gonna open up the halfler, connect my both hands. Now I'm gonna place my elbow on the mat over there and I'm gonna stay on toes, making as much pressure as possible on him. Guys, many times what happens is I can just go from here to here and I don't even need to do all of that thing. So that'll open doors as well. That's gonna open some doors as well. So one more time, let's imagine I'm here. He's making that wizard. I have my both hands connected. I'm gonna try to place my elbow on the mat. He's gonna keep that leg away from me as well, to not give me the chance to do this. I'm gonna stay on toes. Drive. Bring his leg to me. Control his knee. Don't let him kick that leg. Lift up this leg. Place his foot over my leg. And I finish the position. And it's very, very uncomfortable for him. So that's my favorite way to break up the wizard. That's one of the ones I use the most. Okay guys, in the next position here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start from the knee shields. I'm gonna go for the single leg, but at this time my opponent's gonna sprawl right over me, right? So you guys will see that I'm gonna go underneath him and lift him up. This looks like the type of position that requires a lot of strength, but requires zero strength because I'm gonna lift him using leverage. So let's see how I'm gonna do that. So look, I'm fighting against my opponent here, right? I have my knee pointing against his body, I'm framing him. I'm gonna stretch my leg down and go for the single. Guys, as soon as I got here, I'm gonna open up the halfway. But when I open the halfway, my opponent's gonna sprawl, look. He's gonna sprawl kind of like going on top of me. Most of the times my opponent does that is when he thinks about getting rid of my double leg here and maybe running to my back or anything like that. So guys, all I wanna do here is, look how I'm keeping controlling his leg, right? Now I'm gonna try to go underneath him as much as I can with my head, right? Guys, the key here is, if I control his legs and I try to lift him up, I gotta be super strong. It doesn't work. So for 1 second, I'm gonna place my both hands on the mat, and then he's gonna become very light. I'm gonna lift him up, and now I'm gonna control him. Guys, once I control him from here, imagine you're driving on a steering wheel, right? Imagine you're driving a car, so you're controlling the steering wheel. All I'm gonna do is this, look, I'm gonna drive him sideways, and I'm gonna tap on top of him. I'm gonna tap on top of him, controlling his legs and getting ready to start going to the side control. Okay? So let's see again. Guys, this is the type of position that requires a lot of timing. And it's only gonna work when my opponent is sprawling on top of me. Don't try to do that if your opponent has the wizard, or if he's not really like sprawling, he's just like avoiding. It's only gonna work when he's sprawling on top of her back. But that's a very common reaction, because for example, many times someone is here trying to do a double leg, and then our first reaction is kind of to sprawl, to start running to the back, or anything like that, right? So we're gonna use this position exactly this time, when my opponent is sprawling on top of me, and I wanna lift him up. Guys, the key here is, as we talk, if I control his legs and I try to lift him up, it doesn't make sense. I'm gonna spend a lot of energy. It's gonna be this, look. So what I need to do is, both hands on the mat, go as much as you can underneath him and lift him up. Then you control his legs again. So it's gonna be like 1 second window. You are here, control his legs, hands on the mat, lift him up and control again. So let's see. So look, I'm fighting against my opponent, my knees pointing against his chest, and kind of framing in here. I'm gonna stretch my leg down, go for the single leg halfway, right? Once I got here, I'm gonna open up the halfway to try to finish the double, but look what he's gonna do. He's gonna sprawl. Once he sprawls, look, I'm gonna slide my head as much as I can underneath him. Guys, if he sprawls more, like being lower here, if he goes like this, I gotta dive myself in, look. And now that I felt that my head is underneath his butt, don't try to lift him up like this. You're gonna spend a lot of energy. All you gotta do is put hands on the mat, lift him up, control. Now imagine you have a steering wheel and finish, right? When I finish, I like to go and connect my both hands on his leg, just to make sure I don't give him the chance to stand up again. If he tries to stand up, I have the control here. And then little by little, I would start climbing up and getting side control. So let's see one more time. Fighting against my opponent, pointing my knee against his belly, framing him. I'm gonna stretch my leg down, go for the single. I'm gonna open the halfway. He's gonna sprawl. Look, I slide my head underneath him. Once again, if you sprawl like lower, I gotta dive myself in. Look, until I get here. Once I get here, 1 second window. Both hands on the mat, lifting up and grab again. Now, I'm just gonna turn and I'm gonna get on top. Both hands connecting his leg, make sure you cannot come up again, and then little by little climb yourself up until you get the side control. Guys, now what I'm gonna do here is, once again, I'm starting from the knee shields, all that thing again, I'm gonna use my knee to press his belly here, right? I'm gonna connect my both feet, I'm gonna make this pressure here from my knee shields. I'm gonna go for the single leg, but now it's somehow my opponent is gonna be able to stand up. So I'm gonna end up with the single leg and my opponent stand up. So how I'm gonna finish? Once again, we're gonna base the finish on wrestling moves. We're gonna mix here some jiu-jitsu moves with wrestling moves, right? So look, I'm fighting against my opponent, have my knee pointing against his belly. I'm gonna stretch my leg down and get the other hook. So I did. Guys, as soon as I got here, when I open the half round and go for the double leg, my opponent is gonna find a way to turn on it, to stand up here. Once he stood up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect my both hands, right? So I'm gonna connect my both hands and stay tied here, right? Guys, one of my first options is normally always going to his leg and just driving towards that way, or even like bringing this knee inside, lifting his leg up over here, and keep turning until I finish, right? So let's see some options here. We are not doing only one option. We're gonna do a bunch of options here when my opponent is standing. So again, let's imagine I come up from the knee shields, right? I go for the single, boom. As soon as I open my half, return the knee, I end up here, right? So guys, from here, what I could do, I could just grab his leg and bring my knee in, lift this leg up, and turn and finish. That's one option. Second option I had, guys, from here, that would be not like, if one wrestling guy watch this, he's gonna say this move is wrong. But to use against jiu-jitsu guys that many times don't have like the best base, we can even do that, because many times that I'm here, one thing we could just do is just lift this leg up, control here, and now make sure to try to put my both hands together and finish, right? But against one very good wrestler, that's not gonna work. You gotta do it properly. So the proper way to do it would be going here, bringing this knee in, and now going towards the other side, right? Also, those are the two main options I would try. Guys, if for some reason I felt I could not finish from the knees, I would stand up with my opponent. So I would stand up and do this wrestling base here. Look how I am. I'm a little bit like in the diagonal. I have my shoulder pushing his leg and my both feet here kind of together making sandwich on his leg. Now all I gotta do is I'm gonna step back with my right leg and I'm gonna push my shoulder down. So I will do this, look. And go there. So once again. So I'm here, right? I will stand up, 1, 2, put him here, keep my head a little higher, don't stay for your head like this. Keep your head a little higher, step back and push your shoulder down. Right? And we can always mix these options for other options. So for example, if for some reason I stood up, I came here, I pushed, and I didn't finish, look what I could do. I could try to push and go for a double, right? So guys, we have a bunch of options there. I think the most important thing would be keep your both hands connected, stay tight on him, don't stay like this, look, because he's gonna start pushing your head down and getting his knee free. So stay as close as you can to him. If you go here, try to connect your both hands or try to bring your knee inside and then you go to the other side. If you stand up, keep this posture, you stand up, and now remember that maybe only one shot is not gonna work. So sometimes this is gonna work, and sometimes if this doesn't work, you gotta connect a second thing. So for example, I could try this and this. And then it's working. So it's all about trying to simplify. We don't need to come up with a crazy move, but we gotta have a sequence in place. We gotta have a sequence like, you're gonna try this one. If this one doesn't work, we're gonna try that one. If that one doesn't work, we're gonna try the third one here. And then you start trying all of them together. 1, 2, 3, chew, 1, 2, 3, chew, chew, 1, 3, chew. Until your opponent falls on your attack. So that's the goal. Guys, this one you're gonna use right now is the one I call the 201 from this shoe. So I spent like from 2013, 2016, 17 training and teaching at Marcelo's school, Marcelo Garcia, and in my opinion, he's the best no-gi grappler in the history. And he's one of the best, he's probably like top 5 or top 10 for sure. So he's one of the best grapplers I've ever seen. And one of his favorite moves is the 201, right? Is when he grabs like behind the triceps of his opponent and grabs the wrist. He had the strongest grip I ever seen on that position, right? And when I was there, I was always trying to learn from him as much as I could. But I was always trying to pick the things that he knew how to do and bring to my game. I didn't want to change completely my game, so I always wanted to learn as much as I could, but things that would apply well for my game. So one of the things I got there the most was the 201. But Marcelo does the 201 from butterfly or from standing or from the knees, but I always go into the butterfly. So then I picked that 201 and I brought to my game. I brought to the half guard and worked really well for me and became one of my best moves. And I do that even if I gi as well, grabbing the gi. So let's see how to do it. So guys, I'm fighting here against my opponent and I set up my knee shield, okay? Guys, we know our goal here. Our goal is to go to the single leg or maybe go to the deep half guard, right? But let's imagine fighting against my opponent. He has this hand here. Look, his hand's kind of bothering my chest or bothering myself here. Guys, all I'm gonna do is both hands go to his wrist and I'm gonna move his wrist a little bit. Once I did that, my left hand is gonna control his wrist very strong here, and my right hand is gonna go here behind his triceps, and I'm gonna make this grip like this. I'm gonna push on his triceps as much as I can. So I'm gonna make this type of grip, look. Right? Guys, really push like behind, like over like his triceps in this spot here. Looks like there's a spot for us to push. So I'm gonna push this as hard as I can. And now I'm gonna control his arm, look. So he's gonna try to move his arm here, and it's gonna be hard for him to move, right? And I'm gonna keep controlling as strong as I can. Guys, now all I gotta do is I'm gonna push his arm towards that way, and then this space here is gonna open up for me, right? So look, I'm here, I push the arm over there. Now all I gotta do is just go to the single, right? And I could go to the single and finish the single like as a double leg, or just as a single here, and maybe going to his back or breaking his wizard, doing wherever I want. So one more time. So I'm fighting against my opponent here. I have the knee shields. He's trying to bother me. I'm gonna control his wrist, I'm gonna control his triceps, and I'm gonna push him. Right? So I have the control here. He's gonna try to move his arm, he can. Maybe he's gonna even try to use his other hand to break this grip, but it's gonna be hard for him, look. It's a really strong grip. So I'm just gonna push his arm away and go to the single leg. From here, we'll just open my half guard and come up with the double, and the sweep is just there, right? Guys, if I wanna be like even a little more risk taker, I could even try to go to his back instead of going to the single, right? Look, fighting against my opponent, I could control his wrist, control his triceps, I could push over there and run to his back. And set up the seatbelt and take his back, right? So, one more time. Fighting against my opponent, my knees pointing against his belly. He's trying to fight against me over here. I control his wrist, push in. Now, keep controlling his wrist and I control his triceps as well. Now I'm just gonna push away and go or for the single leg, or if I want to be like a little bit more risk taker, I can go to his back. So if I go to the single, I just come up here, open up everything, and finish the double leg with a double leg. Or if I want to take a little risk here, I will move, control the triceps, control the wrist, push, and come up, go to his back, and switch into the seat belt. Then I could just try to put the other hook, and I'm on his back, right? So that's the goal. That's the goal of what you're gonna do here. I wanna cross his arm and run to the back, or run to the single leg, or anything I want.